Hello, I'm your host, Jonathan Miller, and today I'm joined by Ross Duff, CEO of Heritage Global, ticker symbol HGBL on the NASDAQ Stock Exchange. Ross, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for joining us here today.
Well, thank you for having me again. I look forward to this every year.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit more about Heritage.
Well, Heritage is in two businesses, financial assets and industrial assets. As a disposition company, as an asset valuer, as a liquidator, and as an auctioneer, and as a lender. It was founded literally by my grandfather in the 1930s. My father was in the business, my brother and I ran it, and now my brother's sons and my sons are in the business with it. So it's got a family DNA, but it's also a NASDAQ public company that's in a real growth trajectory right now as we're moving into a time with more surplus assets and more financial assets for sale. You can take a look. Our stock is roaring, our profits are roaring, and this is a good time for you to pay attention to HGBL.
I love a good family success story. Tell us a little bit more about the capital allocation strategy.
So now he's getting into the complicated questions. So last year we made $11 million in NOI, $12 million in EBITDA. We're forecasting $12.5 to $15 million this year. We're growing at a pretty good pace. The secret sauce is that we have a lending business, and that free cash flow can go into the lending business every year where we're making double-digit returns. So we think we've built a built-to-last model that's going to have increased growth over the next 3 or 4 years as the market is partially going into a recession and asset flow is growing.
Tell us a little bit more about those growth drivers.
Tell us a little bit more about those growth drivers. So I'll give you a big growth driver. In our brokerage of financial assets, the business was rapidly growing until we hit a pandemic. That pandemic slowed our business down. Everyone was staying home. Nobody was out spending money. On top of nobody spending money, the government came in with stimulus checks that slowed down the supply of assets in the charge-off market. That's dramatically changed. Our growth driver now is we sell charged-off financial assets when there's an all-time high amount of credit cards that basically need to be sold in the charge-off mode. On top of that, fintech is a huge part of our business, and fintech is growing now in its surplus assets because it's in its 4th or 5th year. So there's a big growth driver on that side. I'm not going to quit. How about the industrial side? The growth driver there is we sell surplus machinery and equipment, and there's this huge move over the last 3 years into ESG and keeping assets out of landfill.
Yep.
Nobody knows more how to keep assets out of landfill than an auctioneer who returns them into the circular economy. So we think we're going to grow for the next 3 years.
That's fantastic.
Next year, we'll even be more confident when we come back.
I'm looking forward to it. And, like you said, it's a family business. And as the company grows, how do you maintain?
It's a family DNA in a public NASDAQ company. Let me mention the symbol again, HGBL, for those of you listening.
So as the company grows, how do you maintain the culture?
Well, the way that you maintain the culture is by when you have your son in the business and your brother's son in the business, the way that my father did it with me. You yell at him, scream at him, and threaten him to perform.
Oh, that's fantastic. Where can investors go to find out more about the company?
To find out more about the company, it trades on the NASDAQ under the symbol HGBL, which you probably get tired of hearing. We're very accessible and reachable. The website is easy to find, and there's a website also for Heritage Global Partners, which is our auction company, and NLEX, which is our financial services company. And we're easy to find, and you can call us anytime, and we're happy to take a meeting. And thank you very much for the interview.
Absolutely. The company's Heritage Global CEO, Ross Duff. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.